Hey, cosmic superstars, welcome to Honest Flow. My name is Teo. And so in today's video, I just wanted to do a bit of a personal share on, just sort of things that I've been thinking about, especially over the last week, especially after my shamanic healing that I received sort of last Thursday. And just some things I wanted to call myself out on and sort of make you guys aware, especially if anyone watches this video and watches former videos and hears me specifically saying something around the lines of, I'm healed, or I am, basically, sorry, my mind said, boop, pause blank, ADHD, right? There's a video, I can't remember which one it was, but I remember in one of my videos, and I knew as soon as I said it afterwards, like I started reflecting, it's like, should you have said that? Are you sure you are healed? But basically, the gist of it is this. In one of my former videos, I cannot remember which one, I basically stated that I felt that I was healed, and no one was allowed to accuse me of not being healed. Now I'm calling myself out there right now by saying that was BS. That was me in my ego. That was me being defensive. That was me wishing I was healed, but I was not healed. Okay. So I called myself out there. So you guys don't need to point it out to me because I already know and I'm aware. And, as soon as I said it in whatever video it was from, previously, I just remember feeling it's like, ooh, should you have said that? Someone's going to call you out on that one day because I have a feeling you're not healed. I'm like, damn, ego, damn it. Oh, it's okay. My ego comes out to play sometimes. And I am a person of the belief that the ego is not something we're here to necessarily get rid of. We're here to work with it. I feel like we are both light and shadow. We are both the black and white, and it's about integration and it's about knowing when to move into this energy and that energy, right? I truly believe that, and I don't see things in a black and white sense. I see black, white, gray areas, and the gray area is the combination or integration of black and white, which equates to wisdom. That's how wisdom is formed, by looking at one perspective and another perspective and bringing it together. That is wisdom, right? That's my belief anyway. So I wanted to talk about this healing. So I went to see a shamanic practitioner last week on Thursday. Shout out to Sheriff from Soul Therapies. I think that's what he calls his business, but anyway, it's a business in Australia. So for anyone in Melbourne, Australia, if you want to know more about it, you can reach out to me and I'll link you to Sheriff. But so this healing was in a way I don't know if I'd say a long time coming, because I've received quite a lot of different healings over the few years, and normally part of my training process, like I've been training to be, like last year I was training to be a shamanic practitioner, and I finished that. It was sort of year-long course. Well, it's like sort of 5 modules sort of spread across the whole year. And I finished or completed level 1, and now I have level 2, which I might push that aside for a little bit, and figure out when I'm ready for that, because right now I just got other things on my mind, right? And at the same time, it's a heavy investment, and right now I don't have an income, so it's not affordable right now for me. But I'm sure I'll figure it out, and when the time is right, I will get back onto level 2. But I am a certified shamanic practitioner. I can do certain rituals, and anyhow, digressing, getting off track. Breathe. Okay. I went to see the shamanic practitioner because I felt called to get help. There was this calling in my heart for the last few months, and sort of signs and messages I was getting that I need to get professional help. And there was a part of me thinking, oh, professional help in the sense, should I be speaking to a psychologist or therapist? Is that what kind of help I need? But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, I don't really feel the need to talk to anyone, because I talk out loud to spirit God most of the time. And I feel like that's my talking therapy there. And I just thought about it, like, maybe I need to engage a spiritual or energy healer. And being a healer myself, I'm actually quite specific or particular with who I go to, because for me, it's a very intimate experience. And for me, I need to really trust my healer. And there are healers out there that I feel are still kind of, I'm sorry to say it, but I'm going to call out, are still sort of wounded, and I don't know, just not at the frequency that I need. And I just need someone that's very professional, been doing it for a while, and I just can feel that they're going to do right by me, because I need, yeah, a certain type of healing, I guess. Anyway, I did some research and I found a shamanic practitioner that was close by to me, and yeah, I engaged him, and his name was Sheriff, or Dr. Sheriff. Same, it's just labels anyway. Dr. Sheriff, I'm sure he's not attached to the title, but anyhow, yeah, I saw him and it was an interesting experience, and it made me realize that I was right in certain areas where I know, where I felt that there was sort of past life energy still holding on to me, and traumas. And on that note, I probably shared that when I was younger, I used to have these recurring dreams, or I would consider them more like nightmares. And this was when I was a child. I would just keep having this really traumatic type dream where I was sort of in this, it was a hot climate, I very hot, and to my left and right I could see these big ass high ass sandstone type walls. Like, it was a maze to me, it seemed like a maze, and I just felt every time that I was running, I was in a panic, I was running away from something or someone. And every single time when I had this dream, I'd always end up sort of at the center of this maze, and then in an instant, I don't know if it's because I got shot or something from behind or something happened, but I just feel in an instant my body almost lift like that. And then I look up, and then when I look up, I just see this, this is going to sound strange, this black claw, spider type claw, but it's like very robotic. It's not a spider. It's, I don't know, it's just very robotic, and it just comes down like this, like, those claw games. Yeah, I just felt like it came down and just grabbed me and just lifted me from my body, and I just felt myself going like, those out of body experiences when you just lift out of your body. It was like that, right? And then I just felt myself lifting up into the sky, into this black thing in the sky. Spaceship, perhaps aliens, but I don't know. And then every single time, as soon as I sort of reach a certain point, I just wake up every single time, and I wake up in a panic. I wake up sweating, and to this day I'm still trying to figure out, did I get killed on Earth by someone and then that was me rising out of my body, or did I get abducted by an alien, like aliens or something? Like, I still don't know. But yeah, I just always had this recurring dream, and I actually have another recurring dream that I used to have as a child as well. But yeah, I'll share that. Oh, should I just share it now so I just remember? Because I don't think I'll share it any other time. Yeah, so my other recurring dream as a child was the scenarios would always be different, but the feeling, or this sort of, so the events, how do I say it? While the scenarios were different, the sort of theme was always the same. It was always me trying to find a hiding place. And in my mind, I would think that I found the best hiding place. And I'd be like, they won't be able to find me here. They won't be able to find me here. And they, being these strange floating beings that would just gravitate towards me, like float towards me in a very creepy manner. And there would be people or souls that I could not recognize at all. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what they wanted, but they were always following me around. And I would always try to hide from them. And I would be a young child, just sort of crouched in a little cupboard, and like, they're not going to be able to find me here. They won't be able to find me here. Lo and behold, they open the cupboard door that I've hidden, because I didn't really hide in the best place. And then they start floating towards me, and then they just stare at me and say nothing. And you know, the more I think about it, the more I realize, well, they didn't do anything. They just stared at me and they're just waiting on me, right? They didn't hurt me or harm me in those dreams. However, I was really scared of them. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what they wanted. And every single time, it was always the same. Me trying to find the best hiding spot ever, yet always being found out by these floating beings that just float and open the door or cupboard or lift the blanket where I'm hiding under. It's like, and then they just stand there and stare at me. And I realize now that I'm pretty sure they were spirits from the other side trying to get in contact with me as a young child, but I was too scared. I was like, go away, like, go away. Like, what do you want? Go away. And yeah, these are the two recurring dreams that I always remember from my childhood. And no one really knows about this because I really didn't speak about it. Because I don't know, I just didn't feel like what's the point in sharing my random dreams, right? It's in the middle of the night. And then, yeah, but they're my two random dreams. So where was I going with this? Oh, yes. So the random first dream where I was either getting abducted by aliens or getting killed. Yeah, the shamanic healing that I had last week got me thinking about that dream because while Sheriff was doing the healing for me, he said that he noticed something happened to one of my legs. He said, I noticed an energy or entity sort of go through your right leg and then out through your left hip. And then he's like, and then I saw this flying axe at the same time. And then he's like, oh, I feel like something's happened to you in a past life where, you know, perhaps you were killed. And I was like, that's interesting because I too get the feeling that something's happened to me. And to be honest, it's happened to me so many times. It's not just once. I know there's been several times that I've been hurt or betrayed in past lives, or as I say, persecuted, right? And yeah, and I suppose that's why I'm so scared at times to speak up right now in this world. However, I have to keep reminding myself we're not operating in the same timeline anymore. It's a much safer timeline. Like people don't go around boxing you and, you know, shooting you with arrows and whatnot, and, you know, burning witches or whatnot, right? But yeah, it was quite interesting when he brought that up. So that was an interesting piece of the puzzle when I got the healing. And also when we were doing some guided exercises, some chanting, um, Sheriff actually identified, he's like, well, he just said to me that he noticed that my speaking voice, so the voice that I'm speaking with, doesn't is very different to the voice that I use when I'm doing my chants. And he was like, you have like a powerhouse inside. So in my sacral and root chakra area, when I'm doing chants, that's where I channel energy from for chants. And people are often surprised, like my shamanic brothers and sisters who I did my course with last year. I think those who were around when I was doing my divination stuff and rituals, when they actually saw me chanting, they were just like, whoa, like, because it's a whole different energy. I actually it's almost like a shape shift. And for those of you who are not aware, shape shifting is when you're basically transforming yourself, sort of embodying a different energy or avatar, right? And that's what I basically do. I shift my energy. I shape shift and become someone almost unrecognizable, and I go into a different energy. And what Sheriff was saying to me was like he noticed how my voice or my speaking voice is not connected to that powerhouse voice that I have, my chanting voice. And that's made me realize that I really need to speak my truth. I really need to reconnect that. And I was reflecting on why is it that I speak so softly and sweetly. And yeah, I think when I meet new people, for sure, I sort of dumb myself down. I shrink my energy. for safety reasons, to ensure that people don't attack me, because for a big portion of my life since I was a child till now, I've noticed that when I am too much, when I shine too bright, when I take attention or the spotlight away from certain people, I am often under attack. And I'm not talking about physical attack, I'm talking more about psychic attacks, or just on the receiving end of emotional reactivity, or people starting to play up and get competitive with me. I've witnessed that over and over and over again, and my soul is very exhausted by it, and my soul doesn't like it. My soul doesn't like conflict in general. And so that's why I end up sort of learning to shrink my energy, learning to hide it, hide my power, right? And, disciplining myself to bite my tongue. Because on many, many occasions throughout my life, people have projected onto me, accused me of XYZ, painted me out to be the villain, in front of my face. And I knew it wasn't fair. I knew it was wrong. I knew that I was in the right, but I was being told that I was wrong. And I cannot tell you how much anger I was feeling in my stomach, how much anger I was feeling in my throat. Like I feel my throat drying up, like, and I feel myself in my mind going, just give it to them, cut them now, cut them with the truth, tell them what you really think. But then there was another part of me that would be like, no, control yourself, like calm it down, calm that energy down, Teo. You don't want to do this. Because I know the moment I let that beast out, that power out, I'm going to slice people left, right, and center because I can't control it. And at that time in my life, in my younger years, I know I wouldn't have been able to control what I say. I would have, yeah, just said some really harsh things. But if they would have been honest, truthful things, but I would have said it in a very dark manner that would hurt people to the point that I don't know if they would be able to pick themselves back up from it. Right. But now that I am much older, much wiser, more experienced, and more aware and conscious of my own personal power, I know that it's okay now for me to speak my truth and bring that power forth, I guess. And I should not be afraid of showing that side of me anymore. I should not be afraid of, stepping into my power and really embodying that. And I should not care if it's going to cause me to lose people in my life, because if people truly loved me for who I am, then they will accept this is who I am. And if they were only there for the small version of me, they're only in my life because they enjoyed being around the version of me that's always people pleasing and letting them get away with things and letting them speak down on me, then I'm not here for that anymore. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my random ramblings right now. I don't even know where I'm going with this video. This is just a personal share, which is always the case, right, guys? 7:32. I need to eat. I'm hungry. But that's sort of where I'm at. I really just want to, yeah, be myself, be my authentic self, really embody who I really am, and really reconnect my voice, my speaking voice, with the powerhouse down here in my sacral chakra or sacral energy center and root chakra. Like, I feel I'm starting to feel safer, and I'm starting to feel more connected to my creativity and all again. And I really do want to give thanks again to Sheriff for helping me clear those blockages and clearing out my sacral chakra center, and also reminding me that I had this power within, and also identifying that it wasn't connected to my speaking voice right now. And perhaps I'll see him again in a month or 2 months' time to get that reconnected. Or I can maybe do it myself, because now that I am aware that it's not connected, I can probably work with my guides and spirit and God and call it all back in. Like, I'm ready to connect. And yeah, we'll see how I go. Also, I have been thinking about something else, and I'm just speaking out loud here, okay? So please don't mind me. I mean, I don't have any followers really watching, so I don't really care, but I'm sure one day when I do, they'll be like, oh, this is a boring video, but I don't care. This is my space. No, so I've been thinking about, I don't know if I probably have mentioned in my last few videos that I'm going through this transitional phase and really sort of embodying my aesthetics and my own unique beauty, right? And I'll tell you something interesting, which I know a lot of people would be surprised to hear, is that I don't see myself as beautiful or pretty, or I did not see myself as a beautiful person or pretty person or good looking ever. I just saw myself as very average. Yeah, just an average Jane. I wouldn't say ugly, because I know that, I'm going to get a lot of backlash from people going, you're not ugly. You don't even know what ugly is. I'm sure I'll get that. But I want people to understand something. Growing up, I didn't see my beauty. I didn't see my shine or my glow. And that's probably because I was surrounded by a lot of wounded people who saw that I had something within, like this natural inner beauty, okay? And it made me shine maybe too bright for them, right? And because of that, these wounded people around me, peers, school friends, whatnot, they would often project or indirectly serve me backhanded comments that would confuse me. And over the years, decades, I internalized things. And at the same time, because I was on the ADHD spectrum, only really knowing that in more recent years, the whole ADHD symptoms, like, not being able to concentrate and understand certain things at times, and always being late to things, and then having these sort of up and down moments where one day you're really productive and the next day you're really lazy, and it's just not lazy, just you don't have energy. And then having your parents and people sort of again throw labels at you, like you're a lazy child, dumb. I don't know if anyone's ever called me dumb. I think that's just me calling myself dumb when I think about it, so calling myself out loud. But yeah, I've always just felt like people would plant seeds in my mind, my peers, to make me feel question who I was. Like, why are you wearing that? Oh, I don't know, just little things. I'm sure you know what I mean. Like those of you who have been on the receiving end of those sort of little backhanded comments that are, geared towards putting you down and lowering your self-esteem. Man, it worked. It worked on me, and it caused me a lot of self-hatred. I was very self-loathing. And I think I mentioned in previous videos that I have this diary from 20 years ago, from maybe age 16-ish. And the amount of times that I berate myself in that diary is ridiculous. The amount of times that I call myself effing ugly, effing anorexic, I'll call myself black. And I just want to take a moment to say that I have nothing against colored skin people. So I don't even know what terms to use, to be honest, like the politically correct term, but please understand that I don't mean to offend anyone. And I have friends from all races and cultures, like I do. So I don't have anything against anyone with colored skin or anything. But the fact was this: I grew up in an Asian family, and I grew up with my mom, and also society, or within Asian groups or circles, with society saying that, if you are Asian, you need to have pale white skin. And if you are olive skin tone like I am, or have any sort of tan, you're considered sort of inferior, right? You're considered, a farmer. Okay. And that sort of conditioning programming was really ingrained in my head. So I knew that I wasn't pale skinned. I knew I didn't have snow white skin like all these really beautiful girls that I saw on these Asian movies and things that I would watch on TV, and I'd be like, okay, so I've got this tanned skin. So does that mean I'm dirty? I'm inferior? And yeah, I just saw myself as inferior. So that diary, I berated myself all the time. I, wrote things like I should be dead all the time. Like, it's so horrible. Like when I look into that diary and see the level of consciousness I was at, I'm just like, oh my God, I feel so sorry for her. Like if only she knew how much light she had, and she being my teenage self. But it's okay because it's all a learning experience. And you guys can probably see my eyes getting teary. Why do I always get so teary about these things? I have so much compassion and love for my child self and my teenage self. And I sometimes feel so sorry for those versions of me, because it's just like I felt like I was constantly under attack. Psychic attacks, verbal attacks, not physical attacks, okay? But it still hurts, psychic and verbal attacks still hurt, energetic attacks still hurt. Right. And it just felt like I didn't understand why, because I strive to be nice to everyone. I strive to be kind and show love and give, be generous, because I am naturally generous. That's part of my nature, right? I am a water pig, a life path 9, also born on the 9th. And I'm what else am I? I can't even remember. Basically, I'm wired to be a humanitarian, and I'm a rising Leo, and my Venus placement is Leo, right? This is for tropical astrology. And so I'm wired to be generous, to go all out there and give, give, give. But I didn't understand, no matter what I did, no matter how much love I gave people and how much kindness I showed others, it just never was truly reciprocated. It wasn't really returned. And the only times people were nice to me were when they wanted something from me. And I was very, blah, 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 very aware of when people were just coming to me because they wanted to get introduced to my hot friends, or because they wanted me to help them get a free entry into a club, because I knew people. It's part of my soul design to be connected with a lot of people, right? And it just felt like, okay, people are only there for me when I can help them with something. But yeah, other than that, they don't really come to me, because everyone saw me as weak, or at least projected that I was weak and below them, beneath them, inferior, and whatnot. And back in those days, in my younger years, I actually believed that story. I internalized that story, and I made that story true for myself. I made it a self-fulfilling prophecy by constantly repeating in my head that I was nothing, that I wasn't what supposed to say, that I am incapable, that I am meant to be a slave to others, that I'm always going to be in this, below, not even below, sorry, sort of low paying jobs where I'm just a servant to everyone else, and I'll never be any sort of manager or leader. And yeah, just never be seen. And because I told myself that, that was the self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what actualized into life, into existence. And now I'm realizing that's not my reality and that's not my truth. And I need to snap the F out of it. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm snapping the F out of it and I'm concentrating on me and learning to see my beauty. And, here's another secret that people don't know. Whenever I go to the public bathroom, like the bathrooms or toilet or restrooms in, a public place, restaurant, club, whatever, I struggle to look in the mirror. I actually don't look at myself. Yep. I just avoid. I just go in there, wash my hands. I might quickly glance just to quickly, check my hair and then I'll quickly go out. Like I'm not like one of those girls that stay there and looking every I don't know. I find it hard to look at myself in the mirror, right? And I'm realizing that, dude, that's not healthy behavior. You need to really love yourself and see your beauty. And so this is what I'm working on. And like I said, I'm sure many people will be shocked about this. They'll be like, what? But you are good because I've had friends and stuff saying, you are good looking, right? Like you're so hot. And I'll be like, yeah, when I put on a lot of makeup and dress up, maybe I'm a little bit good looking, but I would never say, wow, I'm so hot. Like I would never say that. And so I find it shocking that people would accuse me, the haters obviously, that, oh, she thinks she's all that. She thinks she's so hot. Because the truth is, I have never thought that actually. I thought I was really effing ugly. And I'm only right now in this year really trying to reconfigure that mindset that I'm really, switching it up and be like, no, you are good looking. Yes, you are. And you know what? I deserve to invest more in my aesthetics. I deserve to love myself more. I deserve to wear nice things and own nice things. And that's what I'm trying to embody. And yeah, this is why I'm working on my aesthetics. This is why I went and got myself some nice brows. By the way, how's it looking? My nano combo brows, if you guys haven't noticed. Yeah, and I've been investing in better skincare as well and just skincare routines. And although I do want to point out, I had this little breakout over the weekend and I picked. Do not pick your pimples, guys. Discipline yourself. And the funny thing is, I used to be a beauty therapist, but I still go against logic. The things that I learned, it's like, don't pick. But it's like, oh, but I'm gonna pick. But yeah, don't. Yeah, so I am just learning to love myself in a more aesthetic way now because I feel like that's the final piece to the puzzle. I wouldn't say final piece to the puzzle because I feel like there is no final. I feel like this whole evolution and growth journey is just going to continue and it's never going to end anyway. But yeah, I just have been focusing more on my physical appearance lately. And I know that the haters are going to be like, oh, she's so vain. She thinks she's all that, blah, 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 blah. But oh my God, guys, like seriously, do you not hear the SHIT that comes out of your mouth? Do you not feel the energy that you're in? You're so like wounded and low vibrational. Like, seriously, guys, get a hold of yourself. Go pick up a mirror and look at yourself and listen to what you're saying. Like, why are you so worried about what I'm doing? Why don't you worry about your life, guys? Seriously. Anyway, back to me focusing on my physical appearance. So I realize now that it's important for me to focus on my physical appearance because I know in doing so, I will feel better about myself. Because the truth is this: when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you look good. It goes hand in hand, right? And that's the one thing that I wasn't realizing. Even though previously I knew I had a lot of inner shine, that I was a good person, I was loving, I did so much. The truth was I wasn't really investing in my physical body. I wasn't really investing, in this vessel, this sacred vessel. And now that I am, I feel like there's even bigger shifts of energy. I feel like I'm more confident in myself. Like I'm working out I wouldn't say a lot more, but I am working out. Like I really am taking care of my physical body by getting fit. I want to see my tiny bicep. I just look at it. You can't even see it, but I'm like, yeah, it's slowly growing. My husband always laughs and is like, check out my bicep. And over here's my acep. Hopefully one day a bicep. Anyway, sorry. I'm retarded. No, I don't want to say retarded. Sorry, I can say things that are very politically not incorrect. Not with any malice behind it. I just say dumb things sometimes without thinking. Please forgive me. But yeah, I'm just a bit of a weirdo, silly. Personality number 3 right here, and a Gemini. So yeah, I can play goofy, woofy, doofy sometimes. Anyway, so I have come to realize that it's important that I invest in my physical appearance and really love on myself and really invest in myself. And that is what I'm doing. That's sort of my final step into this next transitional stage. And then we'll just keep growing from there. And I've also realized that, hey, I'm allowed to dress sexy if I want to dress sexy. And the reason I bring this up is because I've always felt like I'm like in the past, even when I go out, even though I do dress up, I feel like there's when I'm around certain people, certain peers who I don't really hang out as much with anymore, I felt like I'm not allowed to outdo them because they love this being the center of attention, because these people loved being in the spotlight. But the moment I come in the room and I take it away, they get funny about it, right? And then again, I learned that I'm not allowed to be too much. I have to pull it back. I have to be the background character so these people could stay the main character. But I've come to realize, hang on a minute, you're not meant to be a background character. You were never meant to be a background character. You were meant to be the main character of your own life. So it's time to step into that role. And who cares what you wear? And who cares if you're too sexy, too this, too that? Just go for it as long as you feel good. And so, yeah, I am also learning to, yeah, love on my body more and be okay with showing bits of skin here. That, to be honest, when I go clubbing, I do tend to wear low cleavage type tops because I know that's my assets, right? So yeah, but I feel like I've really sort of withdrawn from that lately because I haven't been out as much as I used to. And I was actually looking back at pictures from 10 years ago when I used to go out a lot more. And I noticed that I used to be more feminine in the sense that I used to wear more dresses, but these days I wear more pants and things. And I was like, it would be nice to sort of go back to that more feminine energy and just, yeah, do makeup more and just really be a girl. Because I feel like I've been so masculine, so focused on work and, being a boss. Although I'm not a boss of anything right now, you guys have to remember I am unemployed and I'm not making money. And every day I look at my bank account, I'm like, oh, it's shrinking. How long are you gonna do this for? And I won't lie, just last night I actually did look at job ads and I was like, ooh, here's a little random office job that I could do for 2 days. And then I had to snap myself out of it and be like, no, we're not falling into the trap of going back into corporate. We are not doing this. We have a mission, we have a goal, we stay focused. But right now we're in pause mode, in transition mode, in relax and reflect and figure your SHIT out mode. So yeah. Anyhow, this is such a random ramble, and I know it's all over the place. And again, my nose is running. Meanwhile, I learned that a runny nose often refers to like inner child healing or crying, something like that. I can't remember for 100%. I remember just seeing something about it somewhere, but I didn't really focus too much. Anyway, so that's what's going on right now. And yeah, I'm just focused on bettering myself for myself and no one else, really. Because, like I said, feel good, look good, feel good. It correlates, it goes hand in hand. And yeah, and I'm just, yeah, grateful for everything that's unfolding. And again, to my shamanic practitioner or shaman healer, medicine man, Sheriff, thank you so much for helping me to clear out my blockages and removing an entity that I was attached to my sacral chakra, which I wasn't surprised with, because when he told me, he's like, oh, there's sort of this little entity, nothing, it's like nothing to worry about, it's gone now, but there was something attached to your sacral chakra, your creativity. And I was just like, oh, I know who it is. And he's like, was it female? And I was like, yeah, it was. And he's like, don't worry, gone now. I'm like, but yeah, digressing. I'm going to end it now, but I just wanted to say thank you for listening to me. Thank you for just being present with me and holding space for me and listening to me ramble. I'm probably boring the F out of you guys, but yeah, this is where I'm at, and I don't know where I'm headed really. I keep telling myself I need to focus on doing XYZ, but I keep falling into this up and down flows, ebbing and flowing. One day I'm productive, one day I'm not, one day I'm productive, one day I'm not. And that's okay. I'm teaching myself that it's okay to move this way, and there's no need to rush. I have my whole life ahead of me, hopefully, at least 10 to 20 years. So I still have time to figure things out. And yeah, and I think it's best that I heal what I need to heal. Even though I thought I was healed, I wasn't really healed. Calling myself out there. Naughty little ego. It's okay. I love you, ego. Yeah, and I hope that everyone takes the time to heal, to reflect, and to work on their self-love. And self-love is loving every part of you, mind, body, soul, all of it, right? Physical body, spiritual body, emotional body, mental body, all of it. We have to work on all of it. And yeah, my physical body, my physical appearance sort of has been that last step, last chapter, last thing that I really want to love. And I think or feel that the reason that it's been so hard for me to love this part was because of all the indirect, backhanded comments and sort of the indirect hate, or people just not wanting me to shine and causing me to not be able to see myself for who I really was. But now I see, now I know that hey, yeah, I'm not that bad looking. I can pass for a 6, maybe a 8 with some makeup, and maybe a 9 when I'm dressed to the nines. But yeah, that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm focusing on. And yeah, I'm heading out this Saturday actually for a friend's, one of my close friends' hen's party, and we'll get to dress up in hot pink. So that'll be fun. Maybe I'll come on and say hello or record a video dressed to the nines, because yeah, I want to bring that energy to this channel too. My more feminine, that's such a hard word, feminine, my more feminine sensual energy to this channel too. Anyway, just rambling on now. So I love you guys. Thanks for listening. Yeah, get healed. I don't know, I was about to say something else, but my mind went blank. Okay, I'm going to close it here. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves, heal yourselves, work on yourselves. Just do the best that you can for yourself and no one else. For yourself and no one else. That's the most important thing, okay?